As you look ahead
right?
to 2025, I'm curious, Scott, to get your thoughts there. We have plenty of bulls come on Yahoo Finance, Scott, and they'll say, listen, the economy's growing, earnings are growing, Trump moving into the White House, that means pro-business, pro-growth policies. What's not to like? What do you say to that, Scott?
So I tend to agree and be a little bit more bullish about next year. I believe that the deregulatory movement of this new administration is going to continue to have a very significant impact that reduces the cost of doing business in this country and provides further stimulus for people to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Although I will say that's a trend that has started over the course of the last 18 to 24 months in a more rapid way. That means significantly more investment in some of the real high technology areas that we need to have more of in this country, particularly the types of semiconductor fab facilities that do the most cutting edge types of work. And so that's all a big positive. We've seen the movement of the overall market and the overall economy towards higher technology, much faster growing, better business model types of companies. Those are all the positive things. I think on the side to be wary about is the consumer has been magnificent for a long time now. First, it was all the money that they were given and all the money that they saved during COVID. That's been gone for quite a while. Credit statistics will show you that the consumer is stretched about as much as they ever have been, and default rates are starting to increase. So I think a little wariness is due here because it's just not generally up forever. Although when one looks at the last 3 years, anyone who's predicted caution has been proven not to be right, at least in the short term. I do think that one of the things that we're going to have to look at is seeing the benefits of all of this technology investment. I think it's going to be there, but I think we may have to be more patient than the market is generally used to. It is not clear yet how immediate the impact is of the tens and often and what will probably be hundreds of billions of dollars spent to support generative AI. Long term, that's going to have an enormous impact on the productivity of the country and be a net significant positive. Near term, the dollars are being spent well in advance of when we may see some payback. And that may impact the way the market prices companies, at least over the course of the next 12 to 24 months.
Sure.
The last thing I think we need to be wary about is the fact that we have deficits that continue to be at levels that no one could have imagined even 5 years ago, let alone 10 or 20 years ago.
Right.
We have built up our national debt to levels that are way past nose bleeding territory. And we don't yet have any real clear path to solving that problem, though I am encouraged by the fact that you have somebody like Elon Musk who has done really remarkable things in terms of providing services, and particularly if you look at SpaceX, being able to break a cost curve that always seemed to be going up to provide something that we had always thought only the government can provide.
Sure.
So I have some level of optimism there, but I think caution is due, and that caution will manifest itself in interest rate levels that are probably higher than even the Fed wants. I don't think the Fed will have full control over time of interest rates, as we need to refinance 36 to 40 to 50 trillion dollars worth of U.S. government debt.
Scott,
that's a lot in one sentence.
So I want to pick, and I appreciate the detail level and kind of the pillars that you laid out here, the optimism, the pessimism, and then I'll put Musk as his own pillar. We'll come back to that in a hot second here. But as you're thinking about it, and I want to give investors some actionable tips here, as you're thinking about which names those tech investments would prompt you to pile further into, which names come to top of mind for you?
Well, I know there's been some choppiness in NVIDIA recently, but clearly they are the mainstay of everything generative AI, and you're not going to build more capacity to provide advances in generative AI without their technology and without their products. So, that is a name that comes to mind. I think there are real plays in lots of different areas, and you're seeing a lot of investment on the private equity side in companies that help enable the generative AI and all the data processing and all the energy that's needed to occur. So the infrastructure around the sorts of things that will result in the ability to provide cutting-edge generative AI products and services to the market is something to look for and to invest in.
I'm curious, Scott, as you kind of look for opportunities, pull out your shopping list, how do valuations generally look?
Well, valuations have been rich, incredibly rich. So one can look at the growth and the expected growth, but you have to recognize that this is one of the all-time most expensive markets. If you look at the Buffett index, we're kind of in, again, triple red territory. And I do respect the fact that Berkshire Hathaway has pulled significant dollars out of the market, hundreds of billions of dollars of stocks that they've cashed in. And I think that reflects some of the valuation metrics that we've seen. If you look at other common metrics, we're somewhere around the 96th percentile of heavy valuation relative to our long-term averages. If you look at just the technical of it, mean reversion is something that you're seeing a lot of investment banking and other strategists and tacticians talk about. And if you believe in mean reversion, for the next 10 years, they're predicting anywhere from 0 to 5% annual increases in the stock market. So it's not that all of the phenomenal things that we're looking at in the market has been unfairly valued in terms of being valued too low. The question is it being valued reasonably fairly, or is it just really at levels that are going to take a very long time? It's going to take a very long time to grow into.
Scott, thanks so much for taking the time here with us this morning, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you. Take care.